And this is the area which I'm going to be wallpapering today. I'm not sure if it's going to take me today to do, so I might have to do it over a few days. But it's quite a sort of tricky little entrance hall, which I'm doing, which has, it's like a little back kitchen. So it's got the fridge and it's got like a little sort of work surface here. So this is the wallpaper which I'm going to be using, which is chintzy blue wallpaper. And I've sort of painted all the woodwork. I painted the window the red colour, which is Oriental Red, which is from Craig and Rose, which I've got from, which are all in the other parts of the kitchen as well. And I painted the door stone blue, and this is stone blue as well. In fact, I've got to just put a last coat on that because I ran out of paint, so I've been waiting for that to arrive. But anyway, I just need to do the main bits of that. So the kitchen's in there. And this is a sort of archway, which was originally a door. So it's part of the house, one of the original features. So I thought I'd go through and show you what I need before I start decorating. So I put everything together. So I've got my wallpaper box here. So I've got quite a few rolls. I've got about 10 rolls of wallpaper. Then I've got my bucket, which has got my wallpaper paste. So I'm using that, I'm going to mix it up. Honestly, it doesn't matter what wallpaper paste you use for this wallpaper. It's anything really. I mean, I just mix it up myself, but you can get ready-made wallpaper paste. Then I've got a bucket, which I'm going to put hot water in and have a sponge in case I need to wipe off the wallpaper. Then I've got a ladder, which I think I'm going to have to get another bigger ladder because it's quite tall, the walls. And I've got here a wall pasting table, which is very useful. So I'll put that up in a minute. And then I thought I'd go through the tools that we need. So I put them all out neatly on here to show you. So to start off with, I've got this, which is like a sort of scrapey thing, I call it. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it scrapes the wallpaper down. Then I've got a brush, which I can use. I probably use the scrapey thing more than I use the brush, but it is quite useful to have the brush. Then I've got this, which is something I got from a DIY shop ages ago, and that's quite useful for cutting the wallpaper. It's quite useful bit of kit because it's like the width of a roll of wallpaper, so it's quite useful. Then I've got a roller and one of these trays, which I'm going to put the wallpaper paste in because it's a lot easier to, when you paste the wall, just to roll it on in sections. Then, very important, you need a pencil. And actually I need to have a sharp pencil, so make sure we've got a sharpener. A tape measure, always very useful. And then scissors. I've got sort of like, these are sort of wallpapering scissors, but I've just got normal scissors as well. So scissors are really useful. And then I've just got a Phillips screwdriver and a normal screwdriver for taking plugs and things off. And then very important, a very sharp blade is what you need. And I've got some replacement blades. And then also, I haven't used this before, so we thought to have a go at using it, is the laser spirit level. So I've got that. And then also I've got a normal spirit level as well, just in case. So that's all my equipment that I need to start doing my wallpapering. So I'm going to show you how to mix up the wallpaper paste, which is so easy. And I just use this, it's like the dry version. You can get sort of really smart, really expensive wallpaper paste. But personally, I think with the wallpaper that I sell, this stuff is perfect. You don't need anything special. So it comes in a sachet like that. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a bucket of water, and on the back of the instructions, it says, normal wallpapers, including lining paper, litres of water. You need 7 litres, and that's enough for 8 to 10 rolls. That's masses. So I've done that, and I'm just going to put my water, this is the last bit of water, into my bucket. And then I'm going to open up my sachet of wallpaper paste. So I've got a whisk here, which I'm using, which is important to have a whisk. And then what you need to do is you need to sprinkle the wallpaper paste onto the top. So you keep sprinkling it till the packet's finished, and then we're going to whisk it like this. So we keep doing it. So we need to whisk it in. And that's literally all we do to make the wallpaper paste. And then we just have to leave it for 2 minutes to get thicker. And that's all you have to do. And I'll come back to it in 2 minutes and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like when you've left it for 2 minutes. So it goes all gloopily and lovely and horrible. But this is what the wallpaper paste should look like. So it's very easy. It doesn't cost very much at all for wallpaper paste. And I just find using the dry stuff better than the pre-mixed stuff, which I think is very, very expensive. So now I'm just going to pour this into my tray because I'm actually going to put the wallpaper up using a roller. I mean, honestly, it's amazing. It doesn't dry out, so you can just leave it for ages. And then I've got the tray with my roller, and that's what I used how to roll the wallpaper paste onto the wall. So we're going to do a simple strip of wallpaper, one strip with no interruptions. We haven't got any obstacles to go around. So it's going to be one strip of wallpaper. So I'm going to show you how to put that up. So I've worked out that I'm going to start my first bit of wallpaper is going to go along here. So I need to measure from here up to the top to see how much wallpaper I need. So I've got, this is a sort of mechanical, you know, one of these laser things. I'm not very good at using it, but anyway, we'll just have a go. So I'm pressing that on, hang on. If it goes on, on might help. I press the on button. And I'm just going to use the red dot to see where I want it to go. So I'm going to put the dot there, and that says 2 meters 10. So, and I'm actually going to double check with a proper tape measure just in case, because I never quite trust this machine. So I'm going to use a proper tape measure, and I'm just going to keep going up just to check. Hang on. Just to go up to the top, just to give me an idea, and that is 2 meters 10. So that's how much wallpaper I need. So I need to have some extra 10 centimeters for the top and the bottom excess. So I want 2 meters 20 wallpaper altogether. So I need to measure 120 for the wallpaper. So I'm going to measure that. I'm just going to come to the end and I'm going to put a mark 160. Bring it down just so I can keep an eye on that mark, because you can lose the mark so easily if you're not careful. So that's 160, and then I do that again here. So 160, and then that's another 60 centimeters I need. So 160 and 60 is 220 altogether. So then I mark that onto here. And then I'm going to make sure I have a really straight edge along where I cut the wallpaper, because I always like to have a good clean cut. So the next time you come to the wallpaper, you know you've got a good clean edge. So I'm going to cut, but I'm actually going to look at the pattern as well, because you can see if you're straight by looking at the pattern. You can use that as a guide. So I'm going to do my wallpaper pencil across the wallpaper. And then I'm going to cut that. So I'm going to cut this with these wallpaper scissors. There we are. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up into itself so it's easy to handle. So I'm just going to roll that. This is a tip I got from a professional wallpaper hanger. And it's just quite a good way of making sure it's really flat when it goes on, so you're not having to deal with rolls. And then just put a bit of weight on that with the scissors. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my mark. I'm going to find my laser for the measurement up here. So we'll get the laser and we'll set that up now. So I've set up this laser level. I've never actually used one of these before, so I'm not quite sure if I totally trust it. But I have actually put my spirit level up, and I think it's okay. it's quite easy if you want to use a spirit level, and you can just use it and then mark along the edge with a pencil. But I'm just going to mark along here, this line, this laser line. I'm going to mark some dots along the laser line. But if you haven't got a laser, then you could just use the side of your spirit level. I've slightly run out of line there, so I'm going to have to get the ladders and just get up the ladder. It's quite a high wall, this, and I've got to look carefully where I can see the laser line. And I've just got to, it's very faint, not quite sure how to make it look. So I need to see where it is. I can't really see, so I'm going to have to go up to the top here. See a bit of a line, and there's a bit of a line. It's quite tricky to see it. Right, so anyway, now I'm going to join those together, those lines, so I have a proper line to work off, because I don't really like using, I'm just going to get this is quite a useful tool, so I'll start off here. So I'm going to start, instead of starting at the top or the bottom, I'm going to start in the middle. So I'm going to join these lines together, because it's really important when you're wallpapering to have a really good plumb line. You can actually use a proper plumb line, which I'm sure the sort of old school decorators use, but I'm afraid I haven't got one of those, so I'm just using what I've got. So carry on doing the line till we get to the bottom. So I'm just going to pour some more paste into my bucket like that, catch the drip. And then we're going to start, put that along there, then we're going to start rolling. So quite generous, we're going to start rolling the wall with the wallpaper paste. So you want to put quite a lot on, so then it's easy to move the wallpaper around. And don't worry if you get onto other surfaces, because we can just wipe that off, because it's very easy to wipe off. So we're going to keep doing some more, and then going to have to get up the ladder now. So I'm just going to, because I think the thing with doing this wallpapering the wall, pasting the wall first, is just do one strip at a time. You don't have to do the whole wall. Just do a strip as and when you go, and then the wallpaper paste, it won't dry up. It's amazing. It'll just stay like that for ages, so you don't have to worry about the wallpaper paste drying. I'm just going to keep rolling it, and I'll probably use my brush just at the top. So there we are, so I've got that up there. Keep rolling it out, and then I'm going to get my brush and just do a bit at the top. I can't quite get my roller up there, so just go across the top. And that's great. Now we're ready to put the wallpaper up. So now I'm going to put the first strip of wallpaper up. So I'm going to start at the top, just make sure my ladder, I'm right next to the wall, my ladder, because it's quite high, the ceiling. And I'm going to, because I've rolled up the wallpaper, I'm sort of in control of it. And I've got my scrapey thing. So I'm going to start off, and I've got like a 5 centimetre excess at the top. So I'm just going to sort of, because if you have too much of an excess, then it overlaps itself and then it all starts coming off. So then what I'm going to do is use my pencil line. You can see I'm moving it along slowly. And the good thing about this wallpaper is it's very thick, so you're not going to get bubbles and things, and it always stays dry, which is really good because it's not wallpaper that you have to pre-paste. So it's always dry and really easy and manageable. Then I can use my scrapey thing. I sort of don't cut anything until I've sort of gone down the whole wall and I'm happy with it all. And then when it's all on properly, you can sort of move it slightly along. If you think it needs adjusting, just sort of give it a push, just so you can see that pencil mark. And keep moving it along so you're happy with that line. And bring it down like this. That's it. And we just keep going using that pencil line as our guide. That's really good. And then we can just start smoothing it out. So we can keep smoothing it out with the scrapey thing until we're happy it's straight. I mean, it's easy when you've got like a wallpaper strip and you don't have to do anything. You know, you don't have to have an obstacle to go around. So this is just showing you how to put up a plain piece of wallpaper. And then we'll show you how to do some obstacles as well, like plugs and going into reveals and things like that. So I think that looks good to me. That looks fine. So now what I need to do is I need to cut the top of it. So I'm going to use my knife and I'm going to use this piece of equipment, which is quite good because it's more than the width of a roll of wallpaper. So it means that I've got a good straight edge. And then the thing is with the knife, you need to make sure that you've got a new blade because these come off, and then you want to have coming out as much as possible, so you've got a lot of blade. And that's another tip that you need to do, and it makes it easier to cut. So I'm going to push it right up, and then I'm going to get my blade and then I'm going to use it really quite hard across, and then take that off, and there we've got the top of the wallpaper. And then I'm going to do this part here, so I'm going to bring it down and then I'm going to make sure it's equal on both sides before I start cutting, and then I'm going to press down hard . And the trick is having a sharp knife. And there it is. That's fantastic. And then what we can do is use our black scrapey thing to bring it down. And that's it. And then we can, if we want to do it, we can wipe over it with the sponge just to get rid of any wallpaper that was on before. And that's it. Our first strip of wallpaper.